14, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills. The Baltimore Ravens are coming into this game 10-2 with a big win over the 49ers last week. And they're going to be on the road facing the Buffalo Bills, who are 9-3, coming on for a very big win. And they're all right versus the Dallas Cowboys last week on Thanksgiving. Now, this game has been under the radar. And a lot of people aren't talking about it, but this game could have potential home field advantage at stake. And the reason why is because Buffalo's 9-3. If Buffalo beats Baltimore, they'll be 10-3. And they have a showdown with New England in a couple of weeks. So Buffalo wins this game, they put themselves in a good position to have a first round bye and home field advantage in the divisional round of the playoffs if they're able to beat Baltimore. Now Baltimore needs to win this game so they can try to get that number 1 overall seed in the AFC. So in case they have to play the Baltimore, if they have to play New England again, they have a good chance of beating New England again at home than they do going on the road and facing New England. Now, both of these teams have been two of the hottest teams in the NFL. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. Two quarterbacks from the draft class from a couple of years ago. These have looked like the two best quarterbacks in my opinion. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are now starting to put it both together. Now, Lamar Jackson has been on a whole entirely different level than Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson is definitely in the MVP discussion. He's definitely my MVP pick. But Josh Allen has been really good. If there was a Most Improved Player award, I would give it to Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen has took leaps and bounds compared to where he was last season. If you go back and watch that Dallas Cowboys game, Josh Allen was just impressing me. He was just so impressive to me considering where Josh Allen was at this point last season. It was just so impressive. And I mean, a lot of people are going to say the Dallas Cowboys aren't that good. But I mean, talent-wise, when you look at that defense, the Dallas Cowboys defense is legit. The offense might not be that good, but the defense of the Dallas Cowboys is legit. With that pass rush and those cornerbacks that they have on that team, they're legit. And Josh Allen just had his way with them. He just picked apart that Dallas Cowboys secondary. And I mean, on third downs, he was sensational. So Baltimore, they're going to have their hands full with Josh Allen. But Buffalo's also going to have their hands full with Lamar Jackson because nobody has been able to stop Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens have beaten the best teams in the NFL. They've beaten the 49ers. They beaten the Rams. They beaten the Houston Texans. They beat down the Houston Texans, actually. They beat New England. So, this Baltimore Ravens team has, without a doubt, been the best team in the NFL up to this point. They beat Seattle. They beat the best teams in all of football. Now, my question going into this game is going to be turnovers. I think turnovers are going to be a big part of this game. I think the team, whoever wins the turnover battle, ends up winning this game. Because both of these teams are really physical. Buffalo's really physical up front. They can really get after you on the defensive side of the ball. Baltimore, they're really physical. Any team that can just impose their will and run the football whenever they feel like it, they're a physical football team. Now, one thing that you got to take into effect going into this game is that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be without their starting center, who is out for the rest of the season. So that's one thing you got to take into account. Now, the reason why I say that center position is so important, if you have a good offensive line, most of the time, you have a great center. So Baltimore, without their starting center now, I think that's something that Buffalo is going to be able to take advantage of because the communication with that offensive line is not going to be there without that starting center. The center is like the quarterback of that offensive line. If you don't have a good offensive line, most of the time you don't have a good center. If you have a good offensive line, you have a great center. That's how that works. There's not a lot of offensive lines that are terrible with a great center. You have a great center, most of the time, your offensive line is going to be good. So Baltimore is going to be without their starting center. So without their starting center, I think that's something that Buffalo is going to be able to take advantage of because of how fast and the speed and the strength that they have up front. Now, for Baltimore, the question is going to be, can they still impose their will on the Buffalo team, and can Buffalo find a way to stop this rushing attack of Baltimore? Now, that goes into my keys to victory, where both these teams be able to do to win this game. For Buffalo, my biggest concern is when it comes to stopping the run game is trying to shut down these tight ends. Now, Buffalo, coming into this game, is pretty good against tight ends. They don't really allow a lot of big plays to tight ends. They don't really give up a lot of touchdowns to tight ends. And that's given to how solid their linebacking core is. Now, their linebacking core has been pretty solid. They're going to have a tough ask trying to find a way to stop these tight ends. Because these tight ends under Greg Roman utilizes these tight ends very uniquely. He utilizes them for extra run blockers, and he utilizes them heavy in the passing game. So if you're Buffalo, a big key to this game to stopping Baltimore is being able to shut down these tight ends. If Buffalo wants to win this game, they got to take away Mark Andrews, got to take away Nick Boyle, they got to take away Hayden Hurst. They have to take away these tight ends because the tight ends for the Baltimore Ravens offense is a very big part of why Baltimore has been so dominant like how they have been over the last couple of weeks on offense, because teams can't find a way to stop these tight ends. So if you're Buffalo, you got to be able to shut down these tight ends. The next thing you have to be able to do is you got to be able to contain Lamar Jackson. Keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. Now, I know Lamar Jackson is a great pocket passer and everything, but if you force Lamar Jackson to have to make throws in this Buffalo Bills defense and keep him inside the pocket and force him not to scramble outside, and if he does scramble outside, keep contained and keep him inside the pocket. If they're able to do that, then I think they have a good chance of winning this game. Because the Buffalo Bills secondary is really good. This is one of the most underrated secondaries in all of football. They have 2 potential Pro Bowlers on their secondary right now. And I mean, look, if they're able to shut down these tight ends and keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, they have another good chance of winning this game if they're able to do both of those things. Because a lot of people haven't been able to contain Lamar Jackson and keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. And they allow Lamar Jackson to have all these highlight reel jukes, spin moves, and big touchdowns and big runs. If you're Buffalo, you need to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket and keep his rushing ability to a minimum. Now, I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. I don't know if you're going to have to put a spot on them. Buffalo's linebackers have pretty good speed and they're pretty good in coverage. So if you're Buffalo, you got to find a way to keep a spot on Lamar Jackson and keep him contained inside in that pocket. The next thing Buffalo has to be able to do is the obvious thing is they got to be able to stop the run. Now, every team, every fan base says, we're going to stop the run. We're top 10 versus the run. And what does Baltimore do? They run the ball at will. So if you're Buffalo, you got to be able to stop the run game. The biggest part of this Baltimore Ravens offense is their ability to run the football. They run the football almost more than anybody in the NFL. So if you're Buffalo, you shut down that run game, then you stop this Baltimore Ravens offense. Because they want to run the football, they want to control time possession, and they want to impose their will on you. They want to say, our guys are more physical than your guys, and we're just going to beat you down, and we're just going to out-physical you. We're just going to be the more physical team than what your team is. So if you're Buffalo, you got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to find a way to stop Lamar Jackson. You got to be able to find a way to stop Mark Ingram. Because if you're not stopping the rushing attack of Baltimore, then you're not going to win this game. So if Buffalo's able to shut down the tight ends, able to stop the run, they're probably not going to be able to contain Lamar Jackson. But if they do 2 out of 3 of those things, stopping the run and shutting down those tight ends, now I think they have a very good chance of winning this game. Now for Baltimore, what Baltimore has to be able to do to win this game is they got to get pressure on Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen, over the last couple of weeks, hasn't really dealt with a lot of pressure. The offensive line has basically kept them clean. For me, he was basically throwing out of a clean pocket versus that Dallas Cowboys team last week. So if you're Baltimore, you got to be able to get pressure on Josh Allen. Now, you get pressure on Josh Allen, I haven't really been able to see what Josh Allen has been able to do under a lot of pressure last week because the offensive line kept him clean for most of the game. But I want to see how improved Josh Allen is under pressure. Because when you get Josh Allen under pressure, he makes bad decisions with the football, and that has opportunity for turnover. So Baltimore has to be able to get pressure on Josh Allen. They have to. Next thing they have to be able to do, they got to limit the big plays. Over the last couple of weeks, Buffalo has been getting a lot of big plays out of the receivers lately. Cole Beasley and John Brown. So if you're the Baltimore Ravens, You got to take away John Brown. You got to take away Cole Beasley. You got to find a way to take those guys out the game. Because Buffalo has been getting a lot of big plays in the passing game. And Josh Allen likes to go deep. He likes to take a lot of shots deep. So if you're Baltimore, you need to limit those big pass plays and keep everything in front of you. So the team that I'm going with to win this game, this is tough. This is tough. I'm going to take Baltimore. I'm going to take Baltimore. The reason why I'm taking Baltimore is because, look, Buffalo has a good chance of winning this game, but Baltimore has beaten the best teams in all of football. They beat in Seattle, they beat in New England, they beat in Houston, they beat in the Rams, they beat the 49ers. They beat the best teams in all of football. So I have a little bit more confidence in Baltimore than I do in the Buffalo Bills. Now, I'm not saying the Buffalo Bills aren't going to win this game. As you can see, this was a very tough decision. Buffalo can win this game as well. But I'm going to take Baltimore because Baltimore, to me, their wins and what they did over the last couple of weeks is just, I mean, look, Baltimore has beaten the best teams in all of football. So I'm not going to pick against them, looking at what they've done over the last couple of weeks. So I'm taking Baltimore to win this game. I think this game is going to be another tight one. I think Baltimore wins this game 24-20 is my final score prediction. So let me know who you guys think will win this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos. And thanks for watching.